Content warning. The following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the hit list. You can't escape your face on the news. Don't mess with fate. Locked up in prison, wood chipper running hot. Police on a mission, hope you don't get caught. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the lies. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh yeah, no, no, yeah, yeah. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh. Whoa, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Gainesville police officers say a man convicted of child sex crimes will serve 7 years in prison and be registered as a sex offender. Officers say 20-year-old Shalom Barnes received his sentence last month. Barnes was arrested last year following an investigation into a Discord account that was uploading and sharing child porn. Barnes admitted to investigators that the account was his. He was convicted on charges of child porn possession and encouraging sexual performance by a child.
You made them not safe, and that's shameful.
A judge with strong words as she sentenced a man from Bethany who is accused of sexually assaulting several girls while at a summer camp or while he was babysitting them. The accusations date back to 2022, and the case sparked reform on the state level. NBC Connecticut's Melissa Cooney was in the courtroom for sentencing.
Anthony Mastrangelo was sentenced to 20 years of prison, suspended after 4 years today in New Haven. Victims spoke today during the sentencing, telling Mastrangelo that the sexual assault he's pleading guilty to have caused them and their families immense pain.
I don't know that anyone can steal anyone's innocence because there's only one guilty party here, Anthony Mastrangelo.
Judge Tracy Lee Dayton sharing strong words for Anthony Mastrangelo, the 27-year-old who pled guilty to 5 counts of sexual assault to a minor and 5 counts of risk of injury to a child related to girls between the ages of 9 and 11 years old in 2022. Dayton said she finds it hard to believe that there were only 5 victims.
This behavior is shockingly predatory in nature.
Mastrangelo's defense attorney told the court he's taking the situation seriously and has a strong support network. Mastrangelo himself did not address the court. We were not permitted to film the victim impact statements. One victim told him she cannot forgive, she cannot forget, but she can move forward and will never stop speaking up for herself. A parent called Mastrangelo a monster and said that he, quote, deserves every bit of mental suffering he will endure.
I don't feel it's enough time, but I'm not sure most of the cases in this courtroom are enough time to give anyone any solace.
In addition to 4 years behind bars, he will face 10 years of probation and 10 years on the sex offender registry. This case broke in 2024 when he was arrested as a Bethany Parks and Rec employee. He also worked in the school district and was a babysitter. An independent report commissioned by the town found that Bethany's first selectwoman knew about the allegations from as far back as 2 years prior, but didn't remove him from his spot at Parks and Rec. She resigned last June. This case also sparked a new law that adds more oversight to municipal-run summer camps. Mastrangelo's family was in court today. Neither they nor his defense attorney spoke with us outside of court today. In New Haven, Melissa Cooney, NBC Connecticut News.
More and more people learning of the federal case of child pornography and the charges against the owner of a clay martial arts instructor. We're talking about 54-year-old Theron Fite. Tonight, News Channel 9's Victoria Kellogg shows us how the impact of Fite's arrest is actually going beyond just the doors of his own school.
3 nights a week for the past year, 7-year-old Fox came through the doors of Impact Martial Arts in Clay, making friends while earning an orange belt. She and her father got to know the man running the school, Theron Fite.
He seems very calm, very normal. He's even asked me to join. They seem to have a really good sales program here. But just like a normal guy.
That guy is now facing a federal charge for possessing child pornography. Prosecutors say Fite had images of children as young as 4 on his iPad. Impact Martial Arts team Fite is now closed. Families coming for class met with a note on the door and no word of the charge.
We've heard nothing at all. So this is the first day we've come. You know, you come in here 3-4 times a week and there's a lot of great people that work here, young kids that seem to be really good at their jobs. So this isn't just affecting our children, it's affecting the people that work here too.
But for this dad, the hardest part will be telling his daughter karate is on hold here for now.
She's going to be very disappointed to know that, you know, her and her friends and everyone that she knows here, we're going to have to find someplace else to go, obviously.
Just a day after Fite was federally charged, the questions aren't stopping. Since the news came out, the owners of Impact Martial Arts location in DeWitt and Manlius each made a post on Facebook explaining that beyond the name, their schools are separate operations, both saying they're independently owned and their students have never worked with Fite. Both the Manlius and DeWitt schools says their safety policies were in place long before the allegations. In Clay, Victoria Kellogg, News Channel 9.
Download the WSYR Plus app on your TV to stream News Channel 9 for free. Just go to your smart TV, search WSYR Plus in the App Store, and download to start streaming today.
New developments in the case against 47-year-old Wesley Worrell. A warning: the details in this case are disturbing. The White House man was sentenced this morning to 16 years in prison for asking 2 young girls to change his diaper last summer near Andy Woods Elementary in Tyler. Now, he pleaded guilty to solicitation to commit indecency with a child, sexual conduct. The prosecution said that because Worrell previously served time in prison, the range of punishment was upgraded from a 3rd-degree felony to a 2nd-degree felony. Worrell was also ordered to register as a sex offender. Documents in this case revealed Worrell had engaged in similar behaviors over the past 25 years, with several incidents dating all the way back to 1999, including public indecency, wearing a diaper in public, and stalking his ex-girlfriend. At one point, he was banned from visiting any parks within the city of Tyler.
a crime alert now. A former McLean County correctional officer was arrested Monday for allegedly having child sex abuse materials. According to a press release from the Illinois Attorney General, Kwame Rao, 56-year-old Trent Wilson Arbuckle is charged with the possession of child pornography of a victim under 13 years old. Now, McLean County Sheriff's deputies searched Arbuckle's home where they allegedly found the child abuse materials. He was a correctional officer until 2023 before switching to a civilian position as a control room supervisor. Arbuckle has since been placed on administrative leave. If convicted, he could face up to 7 years in prison. Arbuckle is detained in Champaign County because of his connection to the McLean County Sheriff's Department. He will appear in court September 4th.
Well, the final chapter is now playing out in a case that has shaken so many people in Bethany for years. Today, a judge sentenced Anthony Mastrangelo after he pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting 5 children when he worked as a town employee and as a substitute teacher. Fox 61's Victoria Anderson was in the courtroom where families had an opportunity to speak.
You could really feel the sigh of relief in the courtroom as the handcuffs went on Mastrangelo. And while it may not have been the sentence that some of these families were looking for, it is a relief that this battle is now over.
Do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay. For a man who sat at the center of years of terror in the Bethany community, little was said from 27-year-old Anthony Mastrangelo. He was once a trusted substitute teacher, camp counselor, and babysitter. Now he's going to prison.
No one forgives, no one forgets. They just learn. Unfortunately, a lot of young ladies and a lot of their parents have had to learn very, very difficult lesson.
Judge Tracy Lee Dayton wrapped up the case with sympathetic words for the audience, following several emotional statements from impacted families, as well as firsthand testimony from the victims themselves.
I'm so torn. I don't feel it's enough time, but I'm not sure most of the cases in this courtroom are enough time to give anyone any solace.
Judge Dayton, who wasn't in the court on the day the sentence was handed down, and families in the courtroom stated that the 20-year sentence, which will be suspended after 4 years served with 10 years of probation, is not enough. But now the town of Bethany can begin to heal.
The good news is that no one has to come back to court anymore. That's the good news.
On top of jail time, the judge did order a 50-year protective order for all 5 victims, keeping them safe from any form of communication or contact with Mastrangelo. In New Haven, Victoria Anderson, Fox 61.
Now, a former camp worker in Bethany charged with sexually abusing children will spend 4 years in prison. 27-year-old Anthony Mastrangelo was sentenced yesterday afternoon. Now, he worked as a substitute teacher in Bethany and in an after-school and summer camp program. He pled guilty to inappropriate touching girls that he was watching over. His sentence will be followed by 10 years of probation.
Former Christ Hospital employee is going to prison after pleading guilty to 9 counts involving child porn.
So you might remember the story because late last year, Benjamin Naylor was confronted outside of the hospital by a group called Predator Poachers. They live streamed the whole thing, including the moment police came to arrest him.
And today at his sentencing, a judge delivered a blunt message about the real children behind those images and videos.
Mike Schell joins us live with more.
Yeah, Trisha, that message from the judge was clear. The harm to those children doesn't end when the abuse does. It continues every time the material is shared. Benjamin Naylor was sentenced here today, and after the court heard from prosecutors, a police detective, and Naylor himself. Benjamin Naylor pleaded guilty to all 9 counts against him. Judge Wendy Cross made clear she wanted to focus on what was actually happening to the children in those images and videos.
What was possessed and shared in this case is not pornography in any ordinary sense. It is documentary evidence of the sexual abuse of real children.
Judge Cross sentenced Naylor to 7 to 9.5 years in prison. The detective who investigated the case told the judge what stood out to her after years of working these types of investigations.
The images that Mr. Naylor had were some of the absolute worst I've ever seen. And the chats were alarming.
Prosecutors also told the judge the material involved children ranging in age from an infant to 8 years old, including a 4-year-old who prosecutors said was raped while crying and screaming. Naylor's attorney argued prison was unnecessary, pointing instead to his client's lack of a criminal record, cooperation with police, and developmental disabilities. Before the judge imposed the sentence, she asked Naylor if he had anything to say.
I do, Your Honor. May I proceed?
Yes.
First off, I just want to say how truly and deeply sorry I am for what I did. I'm not making any excuses for what I did. I do take full responsibility.
The case started in early December when the online group Predator Poachers confronted Naylor outside his job at Christ Hospital.
I know who you are. Okay. I've seen your content. Now that you guys are here, I'm willing to drop everything.
I want you to understand that this court does not treat this offense as a lesser or victimless crime.
Naylor was also classified as a Tier 2 sex offender and will face mandatory post-release control. Christ Hospital confirmed Naylor is no longer an employee. He had worked there as a scheduler. Live downtown, Mike Schell, Fox 19 Now.
To this tonight, a former Rock Hill teacher who was arrested last year is facing federal charges. Federal prosecutors indicted Douglas McAlpine, charged him with possession and distribution of child sexual abuse material. Prosecutors claimed that he used social media to distribute child abuse material in 2024. He now faces up to 20 years in jail on federal charges. Last year, he was arrested on state charges in York County. He's currently being detained ahead of his trial.
A former North County police officer pleaded guilty to sexually abusing handcuffed men. This as he was approaching his federal trial.
Marcellus Blackwell was an officer for about a year during the time he admits to abusing men in his custody. Fox Files investigator Chris Hayes is tracking this case and has been since it broke 3 years ago. And he joins us now with more details. Chris.
Shirley, Mandy, it seemed to take forever in court as prosecutors read through accounts of 18 men in handcuffs being sexually abused by a former North County Police cooperative officer. 36-year-old Marcellus Blackwell pleaded guilty to 18 counts involving kidnapping and depriving victims of their rights. It turns out he was doing this during a time we interviewed him for an unrelated report about officer recruiting. This was in 2023, shortly before he was accused of molesting men in his custody. A prosecutor read through each accusation, saying Blackwell turned off his body cam each time and recorded his acts with his own cell phone. Blackwell acknowledged his guilt without saying anything else. U.S. Attorney Thomas Albus came out to speak after the hearing.
Sad day in a lot of ways. Frankly, disgusting conduct that you heard recounted to Judge Lanahan that Mr. Blackwell did accept responsibility for. We think of the victims today, and they were in a particularly vulnerable situation.
Blackwell was coming up on his trial date, which would have meant those cell phone videos would be played to a jury. So it's not much of a surprise Blackwell took this plea. He's looking at a 30-year recommended prison sentence.
Well, Chris, how was all of this uncovered?
One of the last victims pointed out that this was done to him and it was recorded. So the co-op worked with the FBI and found videos on his Google Drive.
Wow. So was he committing these crimes at the police station?
In his car, and part of the charges that he pleaded guilty to, kidnapping. And it came out that he took one of his victims to Normandy High School bus lot to do this.
Wow,
in his car.
Yeah.
It is shocking. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
A former teacher in McGoffin County, Kentucky, has been sentenced for enticing a minor online. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Kentucky says Jason Back, who is from Salyersville, has now been sentenced. His plea agreement reveals that he sent text and explicit images to a minor in March of 2023 and enticed them to have sexual intercourse. Back has been sentenced to 17 years in prison.
We're going to start at noon in Madisonville, where a man was arrested on child sex crimes after police received a tip from an out-of-state law enforcement agency. Officers say they arrested Thomas Shaver and searched his cell phone after receiving a tip that he was communicating with a child. Police say they found images of the child on his phone, identified as a 15-year-old girl from Missouri. Shaver is charged with distribution of matter portraying a sexual performance by a minor.
He served time for assaulting 3 children. Then, less than a year after his release, he was wanted for doing it again. Carlos Jose Ayala Morales is a convicted sex offender with ties to Houston. In 2018, he was convicted on 3 counts of indecency with a child by sexual contact and 1 count of indecency with a child by exposure, and was sentenced to 7 years in TDCJ. He was discharged in 2024. On February 10, 2025, Harris County issued a new warrant for attempted indecency with a child by sexual contact. He's now on the Texas 10 Most Wanted list, considered armed and dangerous, with a reward of up to $5,000 for information leading to his arrest. Call Texas Crime Stoppers at 1-800-252-TIPS. All tips are anonymous and reward eligible.
We're going to start at noon in Madisonville, where a man was arrested on child sex crimes after police received a tip from an out-of-state law enforcement agency. Officers say they arrested Thomas Shaver and searched his cell phone after receiving a tip that he was communicating with a child. Police say they found images of the child on his phone, identified as a 15-year-old girl from Missouri. Shaver is charged with distribution of matter portraying a sexual performance by a minor.
A Burke County man you see right here being held without bond this morning, accused of several sex crimes involving a child. Deputies arrested 40-year-old Cody Myers yesterday after an investigation that began Friday. He's charged with 7 counts of statutory rape and 3 counts of statutory sex offense involving a child under the age of 15. He's scheduled to appear in court tomorrow.
Bedford County's Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force helps make 2 arrests across jurisdictions. According to the Bedford County Sheriff's Office, ICAC officers conducting an investigation charged Brandon Ziegler with 2 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor. Throughout the course of the investigation, officers identified a second victim in Columbia, Tennessee, and charged a second suspect with aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor. The Bedford County Sheriff's Office said this kind of cooperation between local, state, and federal law enforcement is vital in cases involving exploited children.
A Mobile man who admitted to having child pornography on his laptop and then using software to try to delete the images will go to prison for 5 years. That is the ruling of a federal judge for Bradford Simmons. Simmons admitting he had 20 illicit images and videos on his cell phone and another 33 cached images on his laptop. The case arose out of an investigation by the Mobile County Sheriff's Office Internet Crimes Against Children Unit in 2023 and 2024. According to a written plea agreement, Simmons stored child sexual abuse material on an external hard drive investigators seized during a search of his home. They say that hard drive contained thousands of items that may have qualified as child sexual abuse content. The FBI investigation revealed Simmons had a program on his laptop known as File Shredder that erases files.
A Montgomery County man has been charged with child exploitation and voyeurism following an investigation into allegations that he secretly filmed and photographed a juvenile. 64-year-old Alan Cray Brown was arrested following a domestic disturbance call on the 7th at a residence on East 100 South. Upon arrival, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office says a 17-year-old male victim reported that Brown had taken naked photos and videos of him without his consent while he was in the bathroom. The victim told authorities he discovered the files on Brown's mobile phone. Following a Miranda warning, deputies secured a search warrant for the residence signed by Judge Petrie. During a subsequent search, Brown advised investigators that a camera was located in a downstairs bedroom.
A Rochester man is facing a lengthy indictment after police say a 90-year-old woman was attacked inside her apartment and later died. 18 News reporter Imra Ahmed was at a news conference today where officials share new details about the case.
I've been a prosecutor here in Bend County since 1994. We've had all of 2 stranger rapes in the city of Corning over that time. This is one of the most disturbing and tragic events I've had a chance to had the misfortune to be involved with.
Police say a 90-year-old woman was attacked inside her apartment. Today, officials held a news conference to provide an update on the case, which now includes a second-degree murder charge after the victim later died. 17 pages. That's the length of the indictment outlining the 17 counts 29-year-old Jonathan Rivaldo now faces. Prosecutors allege Rivaldo broke into the Dayspring apartments around 2 a.m. on July 13th, entering 2 apartments before making his way into the 90-year-old victim's home. The indictment includes counts of predatory sexual assault, burglary, tampering with physical evidence, intimidating the victim if she told anyone, and felony murder.
The victim was very brave, very strong, and really a testament to just an amazing woman that was able to help us further this case.
This is the kind of victim that a law enforcement community takes to heart. And these gentlemen behind me really did that.
Steuben County District Attorney Brooks Baker praised the Corning Police Department for what he called incredible police work.
We went from an offense where the defendant left the victim as an unknown stranger to an arrest within about 5 hours.
As for Rivaldo's background, Baker says he's originally from Rochester and has a prior criminal record. Rivaldo was released from prison just 3 days before this incident after serving 4.5 years for a vehicular assault conviction out of Monroe County.
The entire Corning Police Department really our heart breaks for her and for her family.
From all accounts, she was a wonderful person and at 90 years old deserved far better than this. But what she did get was the best from the Corning Police Department, and hopefully she'll get the best from the criminal justice system.
Rivaldo remains in custody with his next court hearing scheduled for August 11th. Reporting in Corning, Imra Ahmed, 18 News.
And Police Chief Kenzie Spaulding says there is no ongoing threat to the public.
Recently, we were allowed behind the scenes of the ICAC lab in Kenner fighting internet crimes against children. Law enforcement from around the state worked together to catch sexual predators of minors. Now, the new Louisiana laws that criminalize using artificial intelligence to create child sexual abuse material help them further protect children.
In the past, it's been a challenge for law enforcement because now with AI, deep fakes take the most innocent of images or video, could be Bambi, and they could totally sexualize it, and there's nothing we could do about it or even have the software to recognize it.
With these new laws, it's going to help us prosecute people who could not have previously been prosecuted.
Federal Special Agent Jessica Zappardo is with Homeland Security Investigations. They work with local law enforcement to take adult sexual predators not only off of the streets, but out of your child's hands virtually. But the criminal doesn't have to be an adult.
This law does apply to minors. And, you know, a lot of kids might think they're doing something as a prank or as a joke or even as a form of bullying, but they can still be held accountable for that.
A local man is now going to prison in a child porn case that one police officer describes as, quote, the absolute worst. Benjamin Naylor pleaded guilty last month to illegal use of a child in nudity-oriented material and pandering sexually oriented material involving a minor. Naylor was arrested last December after a civilian watch group called Predator Poachers confronted him outside of his job as a scheduler at Christ Hospital. Naylor's attorney asked that he be sentenced to probation. He said that Naylor suffered a traumatic brain injury as an infant and is developmentally disabled. He's also been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. His attorney called him immature and naive.
I'll tell you, Judge, he did not appreciate the enormity of this when he was doing it. And again, Judge, he's not going to describe this as a mistake. He knew it was wrong, but he didn't. I'm submitting to you. I will tell you from my conversations with them that he didn't appreciate the enormity of it.
He did know that this was wrong. You can tell from the chats, Your Honor. Exhibit 1 of my sentencing memorandum. He did not think or does not think that child rape should be criminalized. In fact, he wants it legalized.
That judge sentenced Naylor to between 7 and 9.5 years in prison. When he is released, he will then have to register as a sex offender for 25 years.
It's about 12 minutes. Steve, back to you.
A Harford County, Maryland baseball coach facing felony charges of solicitation of a minor. Police say 41-year-old Robert Joe Swarthout of Falston was busted in a sting operation. Detectives say he used an app to communicate with an undercover deputy posing as a 15-year-old boy. The sheriff's office said he served as a Falston recreational baseball coach and previously worked for a national tutoring company.
A 20-year-old man will spend nearly 6 months in prison after hiding cameras inside of the bathroom at a popular Delray restaurant in Alexandria. Joshua Humbre Bueno was found guilty of placing the cameras inside of the employee bathroom at Gustave last September. The judge suspended 5 years of his sentence, instead giving him 5 years of probation.
A Marion County band director is accused of having sexual contact with at least 2 students.
Kentucky State Police arrested 34-year-old Adam McCrae yesterday. Investigators say McCrae was a teacher and band director at Marion County High School when the abuse happened. Troopers were asked to start looking into claims made against him in May. A grand jury has now indicted him on 17 counts of first-degree sexual abuse. McCrae is being held on a $20,000 bond in the Marion County Detention Center.
Channel 5 News has learned this morning the Edinburgh pastor who's accused of inappropriately touching a child was released on bond last week after his lawyer got his bond reduced from $300,000 to $70,000. Jorge Gonzalez is not allowed to go to his church as part of his release conditions.
A man from Waurika is behind bars tonight facing multiple felony charges after being accused of child sexual abuse. According to court documents, Jason Hinson is accused of sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl twice this month. Investigators say Hinson admitted to the abuse while being interviewed. His bond is now set at $100,000. He's to make no contact with the victim.
Ada County man Aaron Boyd faces 15 counts of having child sexually exploitative material, though deputies aren't yet sharing what it was or even how he got a hold of it in their accusations. They want to point out watching or looking at pictures or video exploiting a child is not a victimless crime, noting a perception that if someone isn't touching that child physically, then the crime is somehow lesser. But every time someone consumes CSAM, the child that is in there, they're violating that child all over again. The crime is not lesser, and it is just as destructive to a victim. There are records of real children experiencing abuse. To back this up, what the deputies say, a study by the Canadian Centre for Child Protection finds a majority of CSAM survivors say the distribution of their abuse impacts them differently than the hands-on abuse because it never ends. That's circulating forever. Everyone in Idaho is a mandatory reporter. So if you even suspect any sort of abuse or exploitation of a child, report it. Search CSAM on idahonews.com to learn more about protecting all our children.
A significant update in the case NBC Connecticut Investigates has been tracking for years. We're talking about a young man accused and convicted of voyeurism at a Connecticut prep school. His name's John Zadrozny, and while the case wound down years ago, he's been having trouble with allegations of violating his probation. Namely, what the probation officer in the court is saying is that he's been violating his curfew. There are also questions about his online activity and the electronic devices he has. This has gotten to the point at the Hartford court where his bond has now been raised to $750,000. From what we understand, he can't meet this $750,000 bond, and he's in jail right now and has been for almost 2 weeks.
A Tucson man accused of child sex trafficking now being held in custody without bond. And take a look. This is 35-year-old Daniel Contreras. He's appeared in video court last night. He had a warrant out for his arrest in Nebraska for sex offenses involving a minor. Contreras is being charged on multiple counts, including labor and sex trafficking of a minor, as well as child enticement using electronic devices. The offenses allegedly occurred from June of last year to May of this year. His next court appearance is set for Friday.
Please let me see your hands. Get on the ground. Get on the ground right now. On the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Wait. Do you have any weapons on you, sir?
I'm an outstanding human being up to this moment in my time of making a foolish.
On October 9th, 2024, an undercover sting operation busted a middle school teacher in Albuquerque. Law enforcement officers, posing as the father of a girl much less than the age of an adult, had very explicit chats with the teacher. The teacher was later identified as Stephen Phillips. Phillips showed up to the house and instead of meeting the father's daughter, ran straight into the arms of law enforcement.
Please let me see your hands. Get on the ground. Get on the ground right now. On the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Wait. Go on your stomach. Go on your stomach. Go on your stomach. Stop resisting. You're going to get tased. You're going to get tased and you don't stop. Give me that hand. I got one hand. All right. Good. You got lift? All right. Other side. Where'd you do this?
you have any weapons on you, sir?
You have the right to remain silent. Okay, can I get a yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And having these rights in mind, do you wish to talk with us?
After reading Phillips's rights, he agreed to talk to the officer.
I'm just a very honest and open man, whatever. Again, I think talking to a lawyer would be my best bet.
Would you like to talk to a lawyer before you talk to us?
Yeah, I mean, I got really nothing to hide at this point. Like I said, you're looking at a man who's...
Okay.
All right, ask some questions. Gentlemen, you're looking at a man who just lost his life, right? You're looking at a man who just worked at his career for a long time. And I'm so torn when somebody just messages me, hey, you want to come? And I'm like, what the is this? This cannot be true. It cannot be. And then you just want to, like, you almost want to witness to see if it's out there, right? One, this is not me. This is not my character. But apparently it is because I'm here. That right here this is something I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life. And in this pain and torment that I put myself through right now. And all the times just of driving over here, like, what the f are you doing? This is just ridiculous. This is not who you are or what you're about. And so I just want a lawyer. I want somebody to be able to help me through this process. The easiest way possible, right? Or that's where it's at. I have hundreds of parents who look up to me, right? And I've never in a million years even have made a move or have done anything on any girls. That's I know that for a fact. I'm a genuine professional, and then this curiosity got the best of me. Even knowing when I'm driving over here, like your gut, like, dude, it's not even, and it has nothing to do with probably getting caught. It has to do with like what is, anyway, it doesn't matter, gentlemen. I'm just completely embarrassed and completely, like I said, I just lost my life. You know, I just lost it. And so now, to hit rock bottom when you're already just struggle. Anyway, you guys don't need to hear this story.
So he reached out to you and asked, that was the first message? Like, hey, I saw your account, you want to have sex with my daughter? Or was there some back and forth?
Yeah, just a little bit of back and forth.
Okay.
Right. I was like, I mean, again, you don't get somebody saying, hey, you want to my daughter, right? First response would be like, oh, just the up, dude. Just, what do you, right? Then you're like, so then I was just curious. I don't even really know the conversations, just back and forth of, is this real? Or you who you say you are? Is this, it's. I'm sure you guys know the conversation.
I haven't seen it.
No. Well, it's very simple and straightforward, I guess.
Like, I'm giving you first crack at it. I haven't seen it yet, so the first story I'm hearing is yours.
Yeah, and again, it was probably 2 hours or 3 hours of conversation and then, he reached out to me, asked if I wanted to have sex with his daughter. I was like, at first, there was no age, and then he said the age, and he said 12. I was like, what the all right?
you must have expressed interest, right? Because that's why you're here.
Oh yeah. I mean, of course.
So you must have said yes. Would that be fair to say?
Well, yeah, I'm here, right? Yeah. So that's an obvious thing, right? I wasn't coerced to being here. I wasn't bribed to come here. After me, like, no, I don't want to come. Yeah, I was like, this makes no sense. I stayed in my car for a long time, and then, yeah, just,
Okay. So, did you offer anything? Money?
No, I said, do I need to bring anything? He said, bring a toy.
Bring a toy?
I was like, all right, I'll bring a toy.
Did you already have this, or was this new?
Yeah, I had that. That's,
So this was something you already had at your house?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what was kind of the arrangement that you two made?
There was no arrangement.
There's no arrangement?
No, I just, like, what do you want me to do? He's just like, yeah, there's no arrangement. Okay, just come over.
What did you say that you wanted to do to his daughter?
I didn't say what I wanted to do. I just asked him what do you want done? What is your, like, that was my first thing, is like, what are you into this for? Like, yeah.
Okay, but it'd be safe to say that you brought this for her?
For him. He asked to bring a toy.
Okay. But you aren't going to use this on him, right? That wasn't part of the arrangement?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. So, like I told you, you got first crack at this, right? I haven't seen the chats, but I will. So I'll see the answers to these questions. You just have the opportunity to tell me first. And I can say Stephen was very forthcoming and very honest with me. He's a guy who made a mistake tonight, right? Not a guy who has done this 1,000 other times. Would that be right?
That is 100% correct.
Okay. So I'm giving you the opportunity to tell me what I'm going to find when I look at them. Because like I said, you're the first. You get the first story here. You got the first mover advantage.
It's very simple as that. You'll come have with my daughter. I don't know what is this about. Again, curiosity.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
But we can't both agree that you were here to have his daughter. Is that right?
No.
No. Okay. What were you doing here?
I don't really know. I already know me. I probably would have seen the situation and just been like, what the f***, this ain't for me. You guys enjoy your life, right? Just to see that it's real and that it's happening and that it's there, right? And then, you know, that's kind of like what I'm looking at, like, yeah.
Okay.
Because that's how I see it. Like, I wasn't like, yeah, I'm gonna come have with this girl. I was like, what the is all this? Like, you wanted to see, is the girl happy? Is this what she wants? Is this what she, like, how is this situation even possible? You know, and then so you're asked to come to somebody's house, bring a toy, and I was like, oh, all right, here's a toy, but it's like I said, yeah, that's just more inquisitive about like what the is going through a mind like that. Sit down next to it, talk to it, look at like, and then you have ultimate perspective in that way, right? Like, and I'm not justifying anything that I did at all, but my intention wasn't to come over here and have with a girl, a young girl. It was to see the situation, right? Okay. And
so you were concerned for her, the girl?
Yeah. Is that like is this what she wants? Is one of the questions I ask. Does this make her happy? Like, is this what she is? How does this happen? Right? And one, it just happens because it's a made story. You just believed it, right? So this is just so.
Well, it does happen, but you thought, hey, I'll go to this strange man's house at 9 o'clock at night instead of calling the cops?
Yeah, right. That's.
Do you see why that line of reasoning doesn't track for me, right? So we were doing really good. You were being super honest with me, but I wanted to go check on her, so I went to a strange man's house alone, and that doesn't. I can't buy that.
I wasn't saying I was coming to protect. I was coming to see the situation. Right? It wasn't to protect anybody, to see if anybody needs saving. It was to come check out a situation, see what it's about. Okay. At a certain point, you could even, I was like, dude, why are you throwing yourself out there? You don't know what type of person I am. If you see abuse, you see abandonment, you see neglect, right? And yeah, that was definitely a thought of my mind. It was just turn this in. But what if it's, yeah.
All right. Where do you work?
I work at St. August International School.
Okay, what's your job there?
I am the K-8 PE coach.
As far as toys, like what does that mean to you? What is that?
That's.
We haven't opened the box, so I don't. What is that to you? Is it a vibrator? It looks like a vibrator to me. Or is it something else?
Gentlemen, it says on the box, and it's in the box. You can open up the box. You can look at the box. I don't know what you want me to explain. It's a toy that vibrates and has 10 different modes. Okay. It's water resistant. It has a little flip and flap in there that'll go against, right? That works to get a girl squirt. Like it's a toy. It's a toy with multiple functions. What else do you want me to explain about the toy?
I appreciate that. That helps clarify a lot. So were you going to use it on yourself?
No. The very last thing I said, hey, I get this. I understand that, all right? But no, that was not. The dad said, hey, or whoever the that was, doesn't matter. Again, none of this matters. This is a nightmare.
So you're saying someone messaged you about it?
Yeah. So he's like, hey, what do you need me to bring? Bring a toy.
And was there, like, what was your purpose in bringing that toy? Besides him, I know he said, or she said, or whoever said bring a toy, what was...
It's like when you come to somebody's house, bring a gift. It's a gift. So what do you want? What do you want when I'm coming over to your house?
But who was your gift for?
For him, who asked for it. He asked for the gift.
Okay. Did he say what he was going to do with the gift?
No.
No? Okay. Can you help me understand that intention when you say what the I don't understand that intention.
And also me neither.
Okay.
Right? Like I'm coming from a very...
So was your intention, Stephen, to have with this girl?
No.
Stephen?
No, it was not my intention.
Stephen, you're a very educated man.
I know I'm a
You're a very educated
man.
man. This is, as far as conversing with people, this is not the first time you've had a serious conversation with people, right? So although this situation may seem unique, it really isn't. It's just a conversation that we're having.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to understand what's going on. And, to us, right, you have kids come to you every single day that come up with some probably BS excuses about missing class, having bad grades, and then you're coming to us, right, and you're bringing a vibrator. You're coming to a house with a 12-year-old girl, right? You're coming to a place and you're saying you just came here to see and observe. How do you think that?
Of course. Again.
So that's why we want a straightforward answer, man. Like, what was your intention to come here? What were you doing here?
I don't know.
You just showed up.
Well,
I don't believe that, Stephen. And you don't, in your heart of hearts, you don't believe that.
I know who I am and what I am and how I do things.
Okay. The past doesn't define you. We're here right now. Why'd you come?
It is. I told you, inquisitive. It was you're talking to somebody. It wasn't. It's just like I tell you, I would have walked in the situation and been like, what the.
Anyway, I think what Luke's trying to say is that nobody believes that you met somebody online, agreed to have with a 12-year-old girl, went over to the house, brought her a vibrator, and you were only there to check it out. You know what I'm saying? It's the same. We're getting that same feeling that you get when your students are just blowing a bunch of smoke up your. So just be honest with us, man.
I am being honest.
You were here to have a 12-year-old girl thing.
No, it wasn't. That wasn't.
So
what was going on in my head?
So you agreed to have a 12-year-old girl on that chat. You drove to a house. You brought a vibrator, but you didn't. You weren't really. You in your head, you were a lot. No part of you thought you might have with this girl. How did it make you feel? Nervous, excited, both?
Nervous, sick to my stomach, my heart in my throat.
What kind of exciting?
Well, you can interpret excitement from. So that right there is not exciting. I'm telling you, it was more of a frightening feeling than anything else.
Let me ask you this: did you come here because you wanted to have with a 12-year-old girl, or did you come here because you wanted to just have a girl? Any girl. If she'd been 19, what then?
I have with a lot of girls, and a lot of age girls. I have a lot of women that I see, right? Yeah, so sex is not really all that everything is about, right? Like it's just not easy to explain. Like
we're here, Stephen. We're here to hear your story.
I know you're here to hear your story, but also you got to understand, gentlemen, this is completely embarrassing. It's completely embarrassing to just even to think that because I already knew to stay home. I already knew, like, what the is this? I already knew it. Already knew it.
What
knew it.
What helps you know that?
What's that?
What helps you know that you should stay home?
Well, because of the situation. Like, no person in the right mind will will present, you know what I mean, like without any background, like without anything. It's just like, what the anyway.
Oh, you've met people off that life that the turnarounds are that fast now?
That what?
The turnaround's fast. You meet somebody, a few hours later, you hook up, you never see them again. Like, that's how internet.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. But
so it's not that out of the route. Like, it's not out that out there, right?
To come have with my 12-year-old daughter, right? That is not out there. That is not anything that has ever been presented to me or told to me or wrong. So once it was told to me, is this what the right? Again, you can look into my life and you can look at everything that I've been doing for the past 20 years and nothing dealing with illegal or underage girls. And this is like, it's so when it happens now at 51 and you're like, what the how do I go into my head and say that, yeah, that's what you wanted? Because that's not what I wanted. That's 100% sure it's not what I want. Because if it's not that that's anything that I desire, but what happens is once it's said, you're like, oh.
Were you curious once he offered that little girl?
No, that's it. That you're curious of. What's curious of the situation, what everybody looks like, what everybody feels like, what everybody like, you know, your energy, absolutely. Like again, you know, I'm 100% wrong for being here, and it's as simple as that.
So you are under arrest, right? You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so you'll get transported down. The officers will have your charges, and they tend to make pod determinations based on your safety and security. Does that make sense?
Have you ever been?
So I'm at the discretion of somebody, right? Yeah, you know, that's what you just said. Well, I'm at the discretion of somebody who's like, oh, I want to put you in that pod or that pod, depending on whatever.
It's a system, right?
Again,
it's a matrix.
I'm at the control of the system.
Have you ever been booked before?
Yes.
Okay, for what?
What was it for? It was failure to pay a ticket, and I had a warrant out for my arrest.
Okay, so sounds good. So. No, it doesn't sound like something so crazy, right? You're not a offender or anything like that? No? Okay. Or you're not, have you ever assaulted a peace officer or anything like that? It doesn't sound like it. I don't know.
Gentlemen, I'm an outstanding human being up to this moment in my time of making a foolish just come over here to check it out. Just to even give somebody 2 cents of a conversation. I should just read my book. I didn't need to be on a Fed life.
Stephen Phillips was arrested and charged with 2 felonies. He pled guilty to 1 felony and received the following sentence: 400 days in jail, and given credit for the 400 days he had already served. Supervised probation for 3 years. Relinquished teaching certification. Because Stephen Phillips pled guilty to a non-offense felony, he was not required to register as a offender. In the comment section, let us know what you think of this case. Like and subscribe to this channel for more breaking body cam coverage like this.
One for a rainbow, one for Amanda.
Who you playing with, sweetie?
Amanda.
Oh, who are you?
I'm Amanda. I'm 6, and I love unicorns.
Sexual predators are seeking kids online.
We don't know Amanda.
Learn how to report abuse at end-violence.org/protect.
When a child experiences trauma, they can be stripped of their ability to imagine. But imagination is colors. All the colors. Imagination is freedom. And whatever you want it to be. But a child without imagination is not a child at all. Will you help defend our right to imagine?